Okay, y'all, welcome to my channel. So it's a lot going on. My filming setup is different, and if you hear an echo or if you hear my furnace clicking on and off, I do apologize, okay? But there's a very good reason. So today is December 30th, and on December 23rd, the day before Christmas Eve, a pipe broke, and the pipe was behind my wall in my master bathroom that is an ensuite to my master bedroom. As you guys know, I usually film in my bedroom. I've been no secret about that. Usually film with my vanity behind here. And I just actually filmed my video that went up today, which is my favorite palettes of 2022, which apparently I didn't know what year it was the whole entire video until the very end of the video. But I was sitting there, just finished filming, still had my equipment up, and literally I heard whoosh. Now, I live in Chicago, Illinois. We had a very major weather, situation. Winter Storm Elliott was coming through, if you've been paying attention to the news. So it literally, we were supposed to have a blizzard. We were supposed to have 24 inches of snow. We actually only got like 4 inches of snow, but very bad conditions while that snow was falling. And then extreme temperature dips where it was about -6 or 4, but then it felt like -30, and the winds were probably like to 40 and 50 miles per hour. The winds gusts were very strong and powerful. So that whole entire day I had been dribbling my faucets. I know what to do, but because of finding out of some shoddy work, basically when the place was built, way before I became an owner of my condo, the pipe broke, okay? So literally I'm sitting there, I hear whoosh, and there's water just spearing out the side of the vanity. Nothing inside my vanity was actually wet, like my, body products or whatever else, you keep underneath the sink of your bathroom sink. None of that was wet, but the water was coming out very quickly. I was able to pull up things that were important, like my filming equipment, my computers, and things like yeah, I can replace it, but it's not readily replaceable, okay? So I'm actually literally filming in my kitchen. And I will talk about it in more in depth in another video, and I will mention it for the next videos, but I didn't want to abandon my channel. My channel is important to me. It makes me happy. And right now I need something to make me happy. And not that I'm unhappy, but I'm just frustrated with what's going on in my home. And I didn't want, so it might be an echo in here. I do apologize. The heat, you might hear the furnace clicking on and off. I do apologize, but there's nothing I can do about it. I cannot be in here without any heat. That's not going to happen. And now it's rather warm outside. It's 50 something, probably like 40 something degrees outside. It's really crazy. So hopefully I can edit that out. But if you hear some things like that, I'm sorry. It's just nothing I can do. So literally my dad came over. It happened at 10:30 at night. So going into Christmas Eve, my dad came over. He helped me get the rest of the stuff out. I shut off the water to the building. Me and my neighbor, we went and shut it off. The emergency crew finally called me back at 2 a.m. And then the plumber was out by like 7:30, 8 o'clock. Christmas Eve, which I was really thankful because it's Christmas Eve, but it's been a situation. A lot of people have had pipes breaking. Like even my cousin the other day said her pipe broke. My brother, his pipe broke in the apartment building that he owns. It's been a mess. So literally like all my living room stuff, all my bedroom stuff is in my living room. My nightstands floated into my kitchen because it was just easier to put them here that I had on each side of my bed. And then we were putting the makeup on top because obviously those are things that I cannot, easily repair or replenish. Like if I had lost my Terra Moons and all of that stuff, it would have been an issue. But I'm going to do a whole video about it. But literally I put it here and I was like, that doesn't look too bad. I think I can film here, So I have my same filming setup that I usually have, and we're making it work. So that's all I got to say. We're going to jump into the Sea Witch palette by Electrum Cosmetics. Hey guys, this is Ashley. Welcome on back to my channel. So after you heard that long spill, we are talking about the Electrum Cosmetics Sea Witch palette. Yes, Do you see this multi-chrome? You know I love a multi-chrome. This is gorgeous, okay? And this is what the palette looks like. Really beautiful shades, and all of these shades are multi-chromes. All of them. And one of them is a holographic shade. So I did take the time to swatch this palette, so I'm going to go ahead and throw in the palette, the swatches of the palette, and a couple of photos of the palette. But let me introduce myself before I get too carried away. So if you're new here, welcome. Sorry about all the drama. But if you are oldie but goodie, welcome on back. My name is Ashleigh. I have a doctorate in pharmacy and I love makeup. So that's how you get Dr. Ash, and her makeup and eyeshadow is my jam and is one of my most favorite things to talk about. Yes, okay? So, but please just call me Ash or Ashleigh. Now, Electrum Cosmetics. I became aware of them because, you know, they're here on the Instagram, and you got the like page and, you know, the suggested page, and multi-chromes were popping up, and I was like, ooh, those are pretty, those look cute. And so I started following the brand. And then she really sneak this, and I think Jamie from Makeup Release Radar, I know she had this on, and I was just like, this is gorgeous. When this is available, I am purchasing this. Now, this palette did actually release with a whole set of multi-chromes, but I just opted to get the palette itself. And this is gorgeous. Talk about a color story. The price of the palette was $55. Yes, it is expensive, but you're getting multi-chromes, and we all know multi-chromes cost a pretty penny. So Electrum Cosmetics, it's Lisa Marie, it's the owner. Really nice. I have talked to her a couple of times. Of course, all my thoughts and opinions, I will keep it real with you guys. Now, the ingredients are right here on the back of the palette. On the website, there aren't too many more additional info. I have taken the time to look, but I think I could be missing a few things. But it does have explain some things about the palette in general. And the brand is cruelty-free. It has an 18-month shelf life, but if you keep your makeup in a cool and dry area, you know it will be okay. And the palette materials are recyclable. Once again, I did say the palette does retail for $55. We know that's a pretty penny, but they are all multi-chromes. And then you have these beautiful mattes in here as well. This palette was actually a pre-order. So I actually just checked my email just right now to make sure when I place this palette so I have the correct information for you guys. Placed the order on October 14th. And basically when we placed the order, we were notified that we would not get this palette until mid-December. So it wasn't too much of a wait. And once the palette shipped out, I did get it relatively quickly. It was wrapped in bubble wrap. Came secure, didn't have any problems with the palette breaking on me. And then kind of like in a little Pat McGrath fashion, we had some sequins pop out. I was like, what's happening here? Because clearly I'm living in chaos and I keep trying to clean and put things up and put it away because I feel like I'm in like a little studio apartment right now, you know, and I'm just like, what's happening? Oh, these are seashell sequins, cute. So, you know, the whole Little Mermaid vibe. So really cute. And so of course I have 3 looks for you per usual. Ain't nothing changed around here, but the setup, and we're in the kitchen. Such is life, whatever. So I'm gonna jump in with the first 2 looks. So of course I'm gonna jump in with the first 2 looks. We'll talk about my thoughts in between, and then at the end we'll wrap up with some final thoughts. Let's go ahead and get started. Let's go ahead, let's jump into these looks. Of course, I got my eyebrows. I filled them in using my Goof Proof pencil by Benefit Cosmetics in the shade 3.75. And then, it's a switch up. And if you haven't seen my video on kicking a holy grail to the curb, my Urban Decay Primer Potion is basically done. I don't have any more. I wear the color Caffeine. That's the color I've always talked about on my channel. And it has been out of stock, leading to believe that it's about to be discontinued. So I did demo this, and this is the Paint Pot by MAC Cosmetics, and this color is called Contemplative State, okay? So as you can see, is my shade color, works very well as a primer. That's what it's made for. Same color as the Urban Decay Primer Potion. And let's go ahead and get into this palette. I don't know what direction I'm going in. I kind of have an idea, but I'm excited to play with this. This is my first time playing with an eyeshadow palette in a long time. Okay. I'm back. Look at these looks. Oh my gosh. This shadow, okay, so when I swatched it, I was like, this is beautiful when I'm talking about when I swatched it on my arm. But now that I have it on my eyes, it's like, it's like a multi-chrome, but it's not like a multi-chrome, but there's little specks, and it gives me holographic, kind of. I love this purple shade. So, you know, I'm very pleased with how both of the looks came out, and I did want to test it out because I want to just kind of give my thorough thoughts. But you always know I'm going to come back, do the palette update, and let you know what I feel about it after I've been sitting with the palette for a while. So I did one eye with my NYX glitter glue, and that's typically what I use with all of my multi-chromes. It just stays on my eyes better. It lays down on my eyes better. So this shade right here, which is called, this is at the bottom, I think this Lorelei right here. Oh my gosh, stunner. Like absolute complete surprise. Like I knew it was beautiful, but it wasn't one of the shades that I was like, oh, when I swatched it. It was for sure Siren and Hera. So I put Archellus, yes. So Archellus is really beautiful. So I put that on the lid. I feel like it looks really good, but I would have preferred it with my NYX glitter glue. It is very opaque. It laid down well. I did go ahead. I used a Rephr number 28. Typically, I will use probably like a Rephr 02 for that. Do I have? Oh, yeah, right? Yeah, the 02. Here's the 02. I feel like the 02 would have probably laid it a little bit better because this brush is a little bit firmer and it's a little bit more dense. But the Rephr 28 did a good job as well. Of course, going in with my finger, it gave it more opacity and gave it more shine. And I used my Mayron Mixing Medium. So if you're wondering what this is Mayron Mixing Medium. I put it in these little bottles that I got from Amazon because if you know anything about Mayron, it just comes in a twist off cap. And I'm not sure how you're supposed to work with that. It's a mess. But I love how it laid, but I definitely would have preferred how using the NYX glitter glue. And I love to use a thin layer of NYX glitter glue with any multi-chrome. So I think it's really beautiful here. This shade right here in the corner, which is Hera, which is so beautiful by itself. I can't wait to wear that type of gold all over my lid. But it played really nicely, but it was a smaller, more compact space. That particular brush I used was the Flat Definer by Sonia G. This is my brush of my brush. If you saw my favorite brushes video, I talked about how this brush is just able to get in the corners, lay down the product very compactly, and it works with a lot of products that are very slipping, kind of hard to pick up. And of course, you know, I can't get my fingers in that. The mattes are really pretty. They are not powdery, so they kind of feel, they have somewhat of a cream consistency to them, I feel. This shade is really pretty. I just kind of went ahead and buffed out the purple with it. The purple is a really stunning purple, builds up really nicely. I do like how these two shades, they kind of met. So I want to say, did I go in? Oh, I went in with Sea Witch. So I would say I wish Sea Witch was a hair deeper. I wish it was a little bit darker, but the gradient that it made with the shade Orpheus was really beautiful. You guys know I'm like, shade names, I'm like, huh? You know? So I feel like it played really nice. I didn't have a problem blending it out. Everything blended really nicely. I just wish that that was a little bit deeper. So we'll have to see how Odyssey performs and how Desire performs. So I'm really pleased with my look. I went ahead and finished up my face using, what did I use? Ardell Demi Wispies. Yeah, good old Demi Wispies. And I went ahead and used my House Labs foundation. So I wear the shade... new setup, same old thing. Still dropping stuff. I have dropped things like 3 times and I've only filmed these 2 looks, okay? So this is shade 400 Medium Deep Warm. At first when you put it on, it's giving like Oompa Loompa, and then it just kind of oxidizes and settles. And then I went ahead with my Rare Beauty concealer. This is the shade 420 Neutral. I like using a more neutral concealer with this particular shade because it is so... but it matches well. It has a lot of red tones too, but I really feel like every time I settle, and I love wearing this foundation, it flows so well. What else? Of course, I went in Pat McGrath yellow powder, and then of course my good old bae, Electrum Cosmetics Vacay bronzer. We're gonna finish her up this year, and I went ahead and what did I do for blush? Oh my! Oh, I used okay. Did you know I'm not used to this setup? I used my Besame blush palette by Isabel Cosmetics, one of my favorites for 2022. And I went ahead with this shade right here. And then I did a small little bit of a highlight with this gorgeous shade by House Labs. Also, it's called Fire Opal. It's a really beautiful golden highlight. And this is what it looks like. I actually didn't have anything that was, well, I had a couple things that were gold, but I really have been liking this. These are like two pleasant surprises I've only had for a couple of weeks because I picked it up on the last day of that Sephora, the 20% off that we had in December. My lips, I topped off with no lip liner at all. It's just Flesh Fantasy by Pat McGrath on the lips. So I am, oh, and if you want to know, Extreme Black eyeliner by Pat McGrath for the waterline. So I am really satisfied with how everything performed, really on par. Quality is there. I'm gonna go ahead, I'm gonna take this off. We're gonna get into one more look and then we'll wrap up with some final thoughts. All right, I am back and this is the third and final look. Oh my gosh. This multi-chrome siren is beautiful. Actually, like multi-chromes that are kind of like taupey and gold and those type of shades, those are like my favorite type of multi-chrome. So like right here and right here, so gorgeous. Though, I mean, I love this and I love green and blue, but these are literally like my favorite. I'm trying to figure out like how close is this shade to La Lune by Terra Moons. It is really beautiful. I think this probably has more gold, but I'm gonna pull out the La Lune shade in a moment. The details are all the same. I did go ahead at the lower lash line and I put a small amount of Siren Song down here and I think it works really nice with the blue and the purple. So, the mattes are really beautiful. I did find that these mattes, this particular matte right here, actually did have more fallout versus the other matte that I used before, which was Sea Witch. So I used Odyssey this time, and then I coupled it along with the green shade, which is Enchantress. So the only thing I would say, like probably these three mattes, they can kind of look a little bit similar. You would have to be careful kind of layering them together so you're not getting a muddy look. I would probably just use one at a time versus all of them at a time, or add in a purple or Orpheus. Oh Lord, I felt like I was about to drop it. But overall, I am really pleased and really satisfied with this palette. This is so pretty. It was effortless. I decided I just wanted it all over the lids because these are the type of shades, this is like, you just gotta let them shine. You know what I mean? You can't be layering. I mean, you could layer sometimes, but like, do you see this? You need to be able to see it across the whole entire eyelid. So overall, I feel like the quality is great. I want to say that this is like one of her first palettes, and she has done a lot of singles. The formula is an updated formula from prior singles, and I really enjoy this formula. Now, I have 3 of her other singles, and the singles, they're a really nice formula. They're creamy, but I feel like this feels more creamy. It definitely feels more silky, and they are definitely more opaque, and that's what I enjoy. The mattes blend out very well, so if you are hesitant about this particular bold mattes and you're like, oh, I have trouble blending them out, I think that you would do very well. You kind of do well just kind of like just stamping them in and then blending out the edges. That usually works the best for me when it's any type of bold type of color like that. Of course, there isn't really a true transition shade other than this one, but you can always just throw in a nice brown that you're comfortable if you just kind of want to blend this down, or any other thing, and just kind of couple it with these mattes. So I feel like the color story is really gorgeous, really unique. The multi-chromes definitely set the palette off, and the palette is pricey. The palette is $55, but I feel like because of the type of multi-chromes, like every single shadow in here is like a multi-chrome type of shadow, you know? So I think on the website, I'm gonna just go back over to the Electrum Cosmetics website as far as the description of the palette. Like everything is basically described as a multi-chrome, and you know the multi-chrome pigments are gonna be more expensive to formulate for sure. And let's see. Okay, so yeah, I'm absolutely correct. Basically, yeah, you have 6 mattes, you have 5 multi-chromes and 1 hollow chrome. Okay, so the hollow chrome multi-chrome must be Lorelei. That was the second shade that I put on this particular eye, and you could tell it's definitely giving some type of holographic feel. And you could tell that the shades, they have mica in them, and you could tell by just the slip and the ease and the pigmentation, the shine, that it's just a really elevated formula. So I don't feel like 55 is too much for this type of special, unique palette, because like I said, you're getting all multi-chromes in this particular palette for your shimmer shades. There's no standard shimmers there, and I feel like I'm just gonna have so much fun mixing and matching. Like this shade, if I just wanted to put it on with maybe go to work and not be so bold, I would just put like some brown or some bronzer and lay this over. Honey, forget about it. So the packaging is really cute, simple, simplistic. Ingredients are on the back along with their cruelty-free and the 18 months and a recyclable sign. So overall, I'm really looking forward to what else Electrum Cosmetics has coming out. And I hadn't tried too many brands this year, but this is a brand that I did try. Like I said, I bought a couple of multi-chromes, and that's how I kind of got introduced to the brand. And then when I saw this palette just being sneaked, I was like, that's different, that's unique. And you know I love a multi-chrome. Y'all know I'm here for the multi-chromes, okay? So let me know down below, did you pick up this palette? Let me know, have you gotten yours yet? Have you tried out Electrum Cosmetics? Let me know down below in the comments. Give this video a big old thumbs up. Hit the notification bell so you know when I come out with another video, which will be very soon. And subscribe to my channel, because you know I would love to have you here in my Love Makeup family, and we're thriving and we're growing, and I'm persevering through all the unanticipated drama in my life. I am pushing forward, but that's what I usually do. But honestly, sometimes pushing forward is a bit much, okay? I just want to glide. You know, I just want to glide, you know? I don't want to always have to push. Like, I have a soft life, but I don't have a soft life. And the reasons why I don't have a soft life are not because of me. Okay, so with all of that being said, you already know how we got to end the video around. We gotta get it with the Chad, hey, 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 Chad, Chad, hey, hey, Hey. All right, y'all. Bye.